Okay, welcome everybody to the June 27th board meeting for Thurston Conservation District Board of Supervisors. We have a full contingent of all supervisors here tonight, as well as staff members and our counsel, Mr. Cushman from Deschutes Law Group. First item up here on our agenda is agenda review. I talked to Sarah earlier today, and we made one change to what was sent out earlier, which was to extend the time on both of the executive sessions a little bit longer, thinking we weren't going to cover those in 10 minutes. Are there any other changes to this agenda from anyone, board or staff?
Just a reminder, I sent it out via email. We added item G to the consent agenda, or no, not item G, excuse me, item I.
Item I, yes, okay. Okay, with that, we need a motion to approve our agenda.
This is Doug. I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, move by Doug. Is there a second?
Second. David.
Seconded by David. Okay, so we will vote on this agenda. Doug?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Betsy?
Aye.
Helen?
Aye.
And chair votes aye, so we have approved the agenda. The next item here is our consent agenda. We have a bunch of different things on consent this month. I won't go through all of them. Lots of contracts and lots of other things. So we need a motion on our consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, moved by Betsy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Helen. So the vote now on the consent agenda. Betsy?
Aye.
Helen?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We've approved consent. That moves us to item 4, public comment. This is the point at which any member of the public can address the board for up to 3 minutes on an issue that's on their mind that is relative to the work of the Conservation District. I don't see anyone here from the public tonight, but I'll stop now and ask, is there anyone that wishes to make public comment? Okay, hearing none and seeing none, we will close public comment and move to item 5, our reports. First report is NRCS. We do not have anyone from NRCS. Is there anything to report on their behalf, Sarah?
Not at this time.
Okay. Second item up here is the Department of Ecology. Travis was with us last month. It doesn't look like oh, Travis is here.
Yeah, hi.
First, hi, Travis. Welcome. The floor is yours. Tell us what's going on in ecology.
Yeah, so this last month hasn't been very eventful. Basically, we're just still in the process of hiring. We did get 2 new people hired that are going to allow us, to get back into all the meetings since we've been kind of missing a few since we're short on people at the moment. But it's looking like we're coming out of that, which is great. For ERTS cases, really the only thing on my radar is it's like Allen Creek, where it comes into Beaver Creek. There has been some turbidity issues that I'm working with the county on. We've had a few concerned citizens report that, and we're just kind of doing our due diligence to get around those 2 creeks and see what we can find that might be inputting all of that sediment. Other than that, we haven't received any other new ERTs that are related to non-point. So I think that might be it for me.
Okay, thanks, Travis. Are there any questions from the board for Travis? Sounds like not. Easy peasy this month. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Thank you.
Item C is the State Conservation Commission. Jean is not with us tonight. So we will skip over that and go to D and E. The WACD, NACD updates. Doug submitted an update in writing. And is there anything to add to your written update, Doug?
I'd just like to ask the board and staff again, is this, the information I provide, is it what we need? Is it useful? I'll take silences.
Well,
yes.
I'm never able to follow up on the dates that you provide, but I appreciate them. Yes, it is.
I find it useful, and I actually had a question based on your written update, Doug. You indicated that WACD is planning to hire some sort of engagement staff to be housed in Eastern Washington. And I just had a question about whether the organization has resources to support a third staff member.
Yes, far and away, they could probably hire 2 or 3 more staff members. We're pretty flush based on income from the Plant Materials Center.
Okay. All right, well, that answers my question. Thank you.
There's your
And
chance to move to you're afraid of.
Tempting. Okay, that ends partner reports. Then let's move on to item 6. The only item under governance tonight is to take a look at what we're going to do next month.
It's coming right up.
All right, there we go. So we've got the work session topics here. Probably the big one there is we have our mid-year budget review. And then additionally, more work on CEC and the office situation that we talked about in tonight's work session. Anything else anyone wants to add at this point? Betsy.
Well, just while we're on the subject, I was wondering if we could record the work session if I am unable to attend.
Does anyone object to doing that? Okay, so be it. We will record the work session for you, Betsy.
Thank you. It just seems like there's a lot of content I don't want to miss.
Yeah, a lot of content. Okay. All right, then let's take a look at the board agenda. Scrolling down there. Okay, fairly straightforward meeting. Anything to add to the board agenda at this point?
I just anticipate that we may receive additional addendums from the commission. It's the beginning of the fiscal year, so we've already started seeing some of that contracting come through, and it'll be rolling for the next 3 months.
Okay, it's always good to approve money, so that's a good thing. Okay, then we have draft topic list and agenda for next month. We can go back to this month.
I've got a question, suggestion, and I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time, but I'll ask it anyway. I'd like to see us do a state of the district, like almost a glossy type 2-page or 3-page or 4-page, or like this is what we did. We have that on our website so people can look at 2022 and say this is what they did. Real big picture things.
So like a condensed version of our annual report,
Yeah,
because that's several pages.
yeah. I wouldn't put it real high on the priority list because you can probably suck stuff off the annual report.
We have
Okay.
been pulling snippets and sound bites of the annual report and putting that in our social media, which is not quite what you said, but
Well,
similar.
I'm thinking of like meeting with the commissioners, meeting with elected officials, other groups.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. Then if we could go back to tonight's agenda.
I'm not seeing it on our side. Maybe you try stop share. And reshare, which just sound like the header.
There we go. Okay. I think, yeah. All right, so we have come to our executive sessions here. The first executive session is to discuss the performance of our executive director. This is the mid-year performance review. And of course, this is permitted under RCW 423110G. We will spend no more than 20 minutes in that executive session, and attending that executive session will be all the members of the board and our executive director. And I guess this is a question, Ben, is that something you feel like you would like to or should attend?
I don't believe it is necessary. And our practice in the past is for me not to attend those.
Yes,
there's
that
no
was
reason
my
to change.
recollection.
There's no reason for us to change that practice.
Okay. So we will just have board and staff in that executive session. That will last no more than 20 minutes. We'll come back, report out from that executive session, and then we'll go into a second executive session that will include our legal counsel. And that will be to discuss the selection, sorry, consider the selection of a site or acquisition of real estate. Also, again, permitted under RCW 423110(1)B. That one will last no more than 15 minutes. And again, no decisions are made in executive sessions, just discussion and direction. And then after the second executive session, we'll all come back in here for a short report out and we'll adjourn the meeting. So it is now 6:40.
On that one,
Yes,
the presence of legal counsel is not required for it to be a proper part of executive session. So, I mean, I'm going to be there, so it makes sense perhaps to note that, but I don't think it's necessary to get the justification for executive session.
okay, fair enough, thank you. But I think it would be helpful to have you in that executive session, potentially.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Okay. Okay, good. So it is 7:43. So we will go to whatever that is, 6:43. We'll go to 7:03 or thereabouts or sooner on this first executive session. So as soon as we have a breakout room, which we now do, let's all join. Okay, we just completed an executive session with our executive director to discuss the performance of our executive director. We provided some feedback to her and took no formal actions in that session. We will now move into our second executive session. This executive session is the one to discuss real estate. This will include, again, all the members of the board, executive director, and our legal counsel, Mr. Cushman. We will go into this executive session for no more than 15 minutes. It's 7 p.m. now. That means we will be back in the public meeting to wrap up our evening by no later than 7:15. Okay, we have just completed an executive session to discuss real estate acquisition. And had a great discussion. No decisions were made. It is now 7:21, so we ran just a couple minutes over our time on that one. Before adjourning, just had one question, I think, for Ben. It was kind of awkward to go from the first executive session and out and then back into a second executive session with the whole breakout thing. I know when we did executive sessions at Olympia City Council, we would have maybe multiples and then only have to come back one time. Is that still something that we can do in the future?
Let me look at that. Our practice here has always been to have separate executive sessions announced when they start and end. And I think that is an important thing to be put on a record when the record is recorded. But I think it can probably be done just by having someone jump out and back into the executive session.
Well, that's what we tried to do this time, and it turned out that it was awkward with the technology. So if that's something you could just look at and maybe report back to us on, whether we can legally have multiple executive sessions without report backs following each one.
Yeah, or if basically, I think the question is, can we have an executive session with multiple applicable topics?
Yes, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And that should be easy to look up. I don't know the answer to that offhand, but it should be easy to
Okay,
look up.
thank you. Okay, Sarah, did you have your hand up for a reason?
Yeah, just functionally as the host of the meeting, I might be able to jump back and forth to make that an announcement as an alternative. It seems like I can go in and out of breakout rooms, but participants can't for some reason. So we can play around with it on our end too. So if we need an alternative option to what Ben's researching, that we're prepared for next time.
I think the only challenge with that is that because I'm the chair of the meeting, I don't know that you can come back and announce another session. I think I have to do that as the chair. But yeah, but we'll let Ben do that research. Helen, you got one more thing?
Yeah, well, it's not that hard to leave and then come back. So I wouldn't want to invest too much time in it because, it's not that hard for us to just jump out and then jump back in.
Yeah, and I'm actually wrong about this being pretty easy because it's not a defined process in the Open Meetings Act. So that means that might mean there's flexibility, but there's also risk of being said to have done something wrong if you're trying to be flexible. So if it's not too hard to jump back and forth, I think we should keep doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not let the perfect be the enemy of the good, as they say.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.
The
All right.
change in air pressure hurts my ears, though.
Okay. So with that, we've come to the end of our evening here. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
I moved to adjourn.
Okay, Betsy got the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ellen seconds. Okay. Vote on adjournment. Betsy? Ellen?
Yes, sir.
Doug?
Hi, and have a happy 4th.
And David.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We're adjourned. Thank you all for a great meeting. And yeah, see you next month.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Adios.